we are going. What's going on with everybody? It is your boy Eric, aka Young God, coming to you live in the Orange Dungeon, giving it to you real, raw, and rugged. And I have somebody on the other line, or I have a couple people on the other line, not just somebody. I'm so used to just interviewing one person at one time. I have a few people. I will let them introduce themselves. Who do we have for today?
We are Triathalon. I'm Adam.
I'm Hunter.
Chad.
Amen. And I appreciate you guys for coming. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thanks for having us.
We were supposed to do this last week. As I was telling them, I was quite of a nerd and I had to handle some school stuff. But we are here today, and want to thank you guys on camera for being flexible. These guys really are very, 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 very good people. But yeah, I wanted to do this interview, and I'll start off like this because I start off with my hypocrisy just in life. I am somebody who hates labels, but I also love labels because in my head, I'm somebody who's like, I need to categorize everybody in my brain. So it's like, what's this person's name? How tall are they? What's their race? Da, da, da. Like I need to know. Like for whatever reason, that's how my brain just works. But then on the flip side of things, I'm like, why are we boxing people in? They can just be anything they want. I'm just just stupid. Like my brain is just on the both sides of that spectrum. So I say that to say, listening to you guys, I'm trying to categorize like, okay, what genre of music is this? What is it? Da, 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 da. But then I come to a point where I say, this is like a genreless band. I don't know if you agree with that, but I'm curious of your thoughts on my just assessment of hearing you guys for the first time recently.
I've never thought of that or heard anyone say that, and I fully agree. I think that's like probably the most well said, most well described.
Yeah, genre list goes kind of hard. Like I feel like I've never heard anyone use that specific phrase. Where sometimes I feel like we're stoked on like some of the variety, like, or I don't know, just not being afraid to like try out different stuff that like we enjoy while we're working on certain projects over the years. But yeah, that is. I'll definitely take that as a compliment. That's cool.
Yeah.
No, for sure. I say that because I'll hear a song and I'm like, okay, this has like rock elements to it. But then you have the song where you're featured with iDress called Prada, and it's like a full on like R&B song, essentially.
Right.
So it's like we're like doing, we have like almost like psychedelic rock on one song, and now this is just full R&B. So that's what made me. And then like the next song could be like shoegaze type of like. So it's just like this is all over the place, but it sounds good every time. I've heard a lot of people do a lot of different things, and it's like you should probably just stick to one lane because these other lanes are not it. But you guys seem to seamlessly flow into whatever lane that you try to like swerve into.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean we're children of the '90s, so there's so much going on. I feel like when we were kids, that all at once, and so many influences, and music's progressed so much as like we've progressed, and it's like I don't even think we've even thought about staying in a lane. It's just like music's so interesting, so it's like just trying out so many different things, but like not even really thinking about it. So it's cool that you have that perspective because that's like pretty much exactly the vibe.
Yeah, when making an album, do you guys like is it like a cognitive decision to be like we're going to go with this sound, or is it just kind of flowing however it flows at that time period when making like a concerted effort for a project?
I think at the end it kind of comes together a bit, and maybe we realize what we've done and kind of find ways to accentuate that. But I think it's really just kind of happens like organically. Like we're three different people. Like I think we used to be more tapped into the same music, but as we've gotten older and like grown together, I think like we kind of like individually like certain things more and like get excited about sounds, certain genres, bands. So I feel like we kind of bring each other that. And then like Adam said, it's like I feel like the fun thing about music is like there's always new music and there's so much old music I've never listened to or discovered. And so it's like I'll find myself not worried about a genre of music, and then like years later suddenly like it clicks, I'm locked in, like this is it. And so I think there's been moments like that reflects in our own music where we're just excited about certain things and that we listen to and we like, and then we just kind of have that carry over. And maybe because there's three of us that just kind of gets crazy, or we kind of help each other bring it out. Because sometimes I even myself get worried, like I feel like it's cool to hear you be excited about it. Because sometimes I feel like I get worried, like am I just kind of stealing whatever I'm like excited about? So I don't know. It's just, but it's cool to kind of just not hold back. And I feel like these guys, especially, like, like we all kind of promote that amongst ourselves. Like sometimes, I don't want to take something somewhere, but then Adam like can see it, and he's like, no, like just do it, like put that guitar on it, and like don't think twice. And I feel like that kind of collaboration like ends up taking us places that like maybe seem unexpected. Or I even myself am like, we can't make this a rock song now, and it's like, yeah, we can. So I don't know, it's interesting.
There's a lot of good ideas that come from messing around and even trying to like make each other amused or laugh. Like, oh, wouldn't it be crazy if this guitar sounded like this, and it's half serious, and then someone else is like, no, it has to be like that. That's awesome. So we kind of just play off of each other's energies and kind of push each other to like maybe try something that's maybe seems out of place.
Yeah, it is cool that we're all like more open-minded about that, even though like maybe on that moment, like I feel like I kind of need to like warm up to some things. Yeah. But it's like we can all kind of convince each other of something like we weren't so sure of, and it's kind of cool to see all that like kind of build up together.
No, I can tell you guys don't even like understand like how impressive what you do. It's like, for example, there's things that I could do that I don't think is hard, but a lot of people can't do it, and I'm like, oh, that kind of comes naturally to me. The fact that you guys can do so many sounds and play with so many instruments and seamlessly blend them together, it's just what you guys are doing, not even realizing like, yo, we're making a lot of like a lot of like genreless music right now, and that's super hard to do. Like that's not easy, because I've heard many artists try to step outside of their lane, and it's like that didn't work. When you guys step outside whatever lane, I don't even know what your initial lane is, but whatever lane you step out of and get into another one, and then you go back into yours, it's like I don't know which one was better. It's like I don't know if it was the one that they're used to making, or this R&B song, or they're gonna make a rap song next. I don't know what. Like I don't know which one is better, because all of it sounds good. So I just want to say thank you for all of the just crazy music.
Yo, thank you for appreciating. That's awesome, man.
No, for sure. You said that. How did you word this? You said that as you guys got older, you have like veered off into like different music just individually. Like one may like one thing more. I guess like for each one of you guys, what would you say like the type of music or the type of artists that you guys like, probably that the other guys don't listen to as much?
I don't know. I mean, recently I can think of a few examples, like for myself. Like, I don't know how y'all maybe feel, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like I feel like Adam, you always kind of keep me more tapped into what's like new, what's happening, like fresh stuff. And I feel like that's really exciting, because sometimes it's hard to feel like, like what cool stuff is out there and things. And there's just so much going on. And then, I don't know, I mean, recently I feel like Hunter's been someone who's kind of like made me look back on music I've been like kind of aware of but didn't appreciate, like a lot of like electronic dance music and like stuff with break beats. And so I feel like that's been something that like I wasn't as worried about, and now I find myself like way more interested in that stuff. And I don't know, I feel like sometimes I feel like I get off in some like hip hop areas y'all don't seem as worried about. But then, I don't know, it all crosses over too. Like everyone's very supportive. It's not like it's like everyone's so isolated that we don't like mess with each other's stuff as much, I guess.
I think like all of our tastes are different, but we also appreciate each other's tastes. Like it's not like there's music that Chad's into or Adam's into that I'm like, I don't get that, or like I don't understand why you like that. But I will say, yeah, I'm also obnoxiously, to an obnoxious degree, like into the Beatles. I think that's a kind of more me thing amongst the three of us.
We all like the Beatles, but like collect the records and like the lore.
I could be kind of annoying about it.
I'm alright on
them. But yeah, this past record, I kind of low key listened to a lot of bossa nova, which I think y'all all like bossa nova, but I just got into it, like going to record stores and buying records and just like making dinner at night with my partner. It just became like a ritual. And I realized how much it started influencing me and like kind of diving into that. And then, yeah, I don't know. That's just me lately. But who knows?
Yeah. Hunter's an interesting guy too, because I feel like, I don't know, like Hunter's such like a wizard with music theory and stuff sometimes so much. It's like, I feel like I can just be like give me something that sounds like Metallica, and he could just like pull that out of a hat. So it's kind of fun working with Hunter sometimes, and I feel like it's like that like bossa nova can translate to his guitar playing or something like so quick. So
True.
That's
I
interesting.
feel,
No, my fault. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, not at all.
yeah, you're like the opposite too, Adam. I feel like where it's like I don't know like what he wants, but then it's just like feeling it out till like he gets. I don't know. It's like an interesting group to work with for sure that way.
I listen to a lot of. I mean, I like love music more than I love making it. I'm like a music fan first. Um, I'm like, I like love the New York underground scene. I love hardcore music. I listen to a lot of Title Fight, old Title Fight. I mean, it's all old because they haven't put out anything in 10 years, but like kind of like reverted back to some old heavier stuff with some emotion that was like really captured and that still held up. But I also get like really inspired by friends' music. Like we have so many artist friends that are making stuff, and I think that's like a really cool way to like fuel the stuff I'm doing, and not even like in a competitive way. Just like, oh, they're on this vibe. Like it's like I look at it as like you're just viewing everyone's perspective in a really cool way. So I met so many cool artists in the past couple of years who have like dropped this year, last year, and running that stuff up is like really cool. And I don't know, I like locking in more in like a tighter circle with things that are going on. I mean, it's awesome to tap into what's going on, that everyone's rocking with. But yeah, a lot of musician friends that are just like so sick.
That is true. We have like been very fortunate to like just meet a lot of people like in the cities we've lived in, like through the cities we've toured through. And so that is true. It's like cool how much music I'm a fan of. It's just like people we've met that maybe you don't have like like a huge following or something, but just like are really making interesting stuff. So I feel like it is really cool to see.
And they should be like, they should be top.
Yeah.
And they're not, because that's just how sometimes the world works. But maybe not now, but it is cool. It's like almost like, I hate that gate kept term because it's so selfish.
Yeah.
But it is special when you're like, I really just know about this album that not a lot of people know about yet, and it's really fueled me. Like there's this artist I met, Will Alpine. He dropped last year. So slept on, such a cool project. And he's just one of those people who I just met in passing, luckily. And it's like that record just like kind of opened my shit up, but also it's cool when you align with people, especially like, in your same age, and everyone's making different stuff, but it still aligns on this vibe.
No, for sure.
That's what I really love.
I'm looking at some of our mutual followers on Instagram, and it's like people like Dent May, who I love.
He's the goat.
Yeah, he's shout out to Dent.
He's the goat.
Daryl Johns, you guys follow.
Yeah,
But there's one person you follow where I'm like, I don't know how you know who this is. This guy, I feel like could be one of like the biggest R&B artists out, but he just doesn't put out music. Matt Clare.
Yeah, he's fire.
Matt Clare is very fire. I've been following him since a very very long time.
He's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, very talented guy.
Yes.
How do you guys know who that is? That's crazy to me.
I really was just at one point really tapped into that style, especially his style back in the day. And I feel like that was more when I was like really trying to just follow every artist I was listening to. I think I do that less these days on some weird shit where sometimes you don't have to follow everyone you listen to all the time. But I was like really trying to like see what everyone was on and how they were online, or it's so interesting. It was an interesting time, but yeah, amazing artist.
No, shout out to Matt. You guys said you are into bossa nova, everybody, and
Yeah.
although I'm not into this genre I'm about to bring up, I wanted to recommend you guys a genre if you've never heard of it before. It's a little too much for me. Brazilian funk.
Yes,
Oh
of
yeah.
course, of course.
I have
Really?
tried so many times. I don't know if you guys have any recommendations, but a lot of it is just it's very chaotic, and I just don't know where to start sometimes. But that's a very intriguing genre to me for sure.
Ooh, I can put you on. Actually, I'll send you some shit
Okay,
today.
please.
I think you start really with like the '70s and like late '70s, where they were. I mean, it's kind of like technical and super weird, but it's really cool. I'm trying to think of this artist. I'm like the worst. I think I don't know if you get this with when you interview musicians and you're asking them about who like they listen to or rock with and they can't name a single damn artist. I will send you some
Yeah.
stuff for sure.
See, I've only heard the newer Brazilian funk from like the past like 5 years, so I've never heard the like. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know it dated back to the '70s. I thought this was like a genre from like the past 20 years. I didn't know this was like a genre that dated back so far.
It's super far back. I might could be wrong on like '70s being like earliest, but I mean it's like it's back. It goes back.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Some I would say like art. It's like almost like art pop vibes because it's so strange but cool. Um, but yeah, I will definitely send you something that you might have heard. Honestly,
Yeah, definitely. I've been in my art house bag lately. I'm
okay.
planning to watch Holy Mountain. You ever heard of that movie?
Yes, of
Planning to watch that
course, the
for the
best.
first time. I've never seen it. It's my first time watching it today. I'm going to watch it after we get done with this interview. Actually,
Oh my god,
so
dude, such a cool
is
film.
it? I've heard the craziest stuff about it. So I'm like, I'm gonna dedicate this day to watching that movie.
Wow.
It's kind of like that movie because it's pretty long too. I remember I've only seen it once, but I was like in a similar experience. Someone just like sat me down to watch. I think it was like
Yeah.
pre. Like,
Been a long time.
It's so colorful. And you know what's funny that you had brought that up because I was watching the new Turnstile um, like previews for their upcoming album, and they're using like really. I texted you about
Yeah,
it
you
today.
did. Yeah.
They're like using like really colorful backdrops and kind of it looks like it's shot on film and stuff, but it's like very throwback to '70s, and I feel like there's a lot of that reference for that from that film in there. I could be wrong, but I don't know if you rock with them.
No, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. I do.
shout outs to that band, but yeah, you're gonna love that movie. I mean, I think you'll appreciate it because it's really, I think like concept and narrative and all that stuff alone, just like the whole like colors, all the set design and the thought is really cool.
I can't wait. I can't wait. And before we get into your guys' music, I want to kind of take a step back because is everybody from Savannah?
No.
We actually aren't from Savannah at all. We just went to school there.
yeah, like
Got
the
you.
band's kind of from Savannah in the sense that like that's where we all like linked up to kind of make the project happen and like started it together, like in college. And so that's kind of where I feel like we got like a lot of support initially, like kind of built a community of like friends, listeners, and yeah, it was just like a really cool like music city at the time. So I feel like that's like kind of where we like claim I feel like the project's from for sure.
Got
But
you.
Adam and I grew up in Texas. Like we're like live in a city near Dallas, and then Hunter's from Georgia, but not Savannah.
Yeah, I'm from Atlanta.
Got you. SCAD?
Yes.
Yeah,
Got you. You guys went to
got
SCAD.
us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so this whole time I thought you guys were from Savannah, and I assumed you went to SCAD. But it kind of made me hype when I found that out because initially I thought you were from New York, but I know it's where you guys are based at now. So when I found out Savannah, I was like, okay, that's kind of like home a little bit because Jacksonville and Savannah are not too far away from each other.
Right. So
Um,
close.
living in
Yeah.
Florida, I say this all the time, but like people who are not from Jacksonville but they live in like other parts of Florida, they joke and say Jacksonville is not Florida. It's really just like South Georgia because we're so
I totally
close.
see that.
We've heard that joke too for sure. Where like I feel like, and I get that coming from Savannah too because it's pretty unique. Like, but I feel like yeah, I don't know, like staying there as long as we did, we didn't like, we're not from there necessarily, but going to school there, staying there like a handful of years after and kind of making it like a home base, we got to like do a lot of playing shows kind of in and around the area. So I feel like we were like able to play in Jacksonville and like kind of North Florida a few times, like all the, like kind of like local Georgia like cities and stuff. So I can see what you mean for sure.
No,
We
for
even
sure.
we went to Jacksonville. We went to Jackrabbits in college
Really.
to see you, right?
Who see who?
Yeah, it was you.
Taramellos.
It was you and
Yeah.
Alex. Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah,
there.
Taramellos. Shout outs
Yeah.
to Taramellos.
Shout out Caramellos.
What an incredible OG band that was doing some like really cool stuff. But yeah, I remember going to Jackrabbits for the first time.
Shout out to Jackrabbits. That's a that's
That's
a
a
Jackrabbits. No, yeah, that's cool because like I feel like I don't really hear a lot of musical entities come out of um, Savannah, and it was cool
Mm-hmm.
to know that you guys are Savannah. Like there are people from Savannah who makes music and blew up.
Totally, yeah. I mean, like we went to school there, so I feel like there is a lot of people kind of like congregating to like go to that college and like be creative together. But I mean, we met a lot of people from Savannah, and I'd say like those people are even some of the people that really supported and like built that community up because
Mm.
the school's always there, but it's a bit fleeting and like people come and go to just like like start their career, or, like move on with their life and stuff. So sticking around longer and like really getting to like establish ourselves with like more local people and like was really fun because I don't necessarily know what it's like now. Like we visit, but I feel very fortunate that that time, there was so many bands, so many musicians trying to put shows, like play a house party, play a bar. Like it was just like it felt like a city of musicians, like putting on a show and showing up to other people's shows. Like it was just really fun. A lot of people we still keep up with and like support, or even people we know, live with, like collaborate with in New York. Like we met in Savannah, like just playing music there. So
No, yeah, I know a lot about SCAD because I went to arts middle school, which is a feeder to an arts high school, and a lot of people to those schools either go to Juilliard or a lot of like institutions like that. But if they kind of want to stay like more local, they end up going to SCAD. So I've heard a lot about SCAD. Did you guys? How was like your time at SCAD?
I mean,
Great.
it was pretty amazing. I feel like the social aspect was amazing, and the friend aspect was amazing.
yeah, I mean, from a college experience, it's like super sick. I mean, like so fortunate to be able to go. Like it's a really cool school. I mean, you can learn a lot, get a good major. Like the one thing looking back, I wish like it was a little more like free form. And I think like to their credit, they do a good job of setting you up to like be realistic and like you're gonna be creative, but like how can we like focus on a skill, a career, like a job.
Mm.
And so parts of that, like I feel like were hard for me because I was kind of trying to figure stuff out, and like I felt like I was going to school to check a box and then like in the band because that's what I wanted to do. So part of me feels like I'm so fortunate to have done it because like without it, where would I be now? But another part of me feels like it's like I don't know, I just wanted a place to go and like be able to just make stuff and be creative and like like mess around with people. And so finding these guys, it was like that was like the perfect thing to be able to do. So
Where did everybody major in?
We all majored in film.
yeah, all of us are film majors. We all like kind of had different like focuses. So like, but yeah, I mean, I guess we all got like a BFA in film and television, right?
That's right. Hire us if you guys need us.
Remind me before we end this interview, we have to end this talking about film because I'm minored in film, so I really do like film a lot too.
Oh, let's go.
So,
Let's
so,
go.
remind me if I don't go back to that. But I have to shout out somebody. I have to shout out Patrick Tilley. I have to shout him out because that's his last name, right? Patrick Tilley.
I believe so.
Patrick has shown me a lot of great artists, including you guys, and I want to shout him out because he put me onto you guys, and there would be no interview if there was not him. And he's shout out to him because the first song I heard was R.I.P. and I was like, it was the video actually, and I was like, this is different. This is weird. I was like, I'm not sure what this is, but I have to listen to more. So I listened to the album, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like Clover, I absolutely love. Everything, even like the small like interludes, like a funeral music or everything on that album, it's like a hit. It's like 10 out of 10. The vocals are amazing. The backing music, everything is amazing about that album. So I just want to let you guys know that that is definitely one of my favorite albums of the year. We're still very early. We're still like April, but so far that is like probably in my It's in my top something, top five probably. I love
Wow,
that album.
man,
I love
Thank
that
you.
album.
That's really nice.
that's so sweet. I'm so stoked that you feel that way.
Yeah, it's cool. It made like an impression on you, especially. I feel like being with these guys, like doing music for a minute, it feels like we're really excited about this project, but it's like cool that you kind of came into it like on that one. So just hearing you, 'cause sometimes I feel like we have a lot of like fans that have listened to us for a long time, which is like awesome. So it's just cool to know that like it's still finding people or all these different sounds have been working on and stuff. And I don't know, it's stoked to have the album be coming out because like I feel like obviously cool to be able to like roll the singles out and like make an impression, but I am really stoked to kind of see people like take all that in for like like a whole kind of album and stuff and see what they think. So it's cool hearing you um, be excited about it because it not being out yet, I still like I'm curious to see what people think. So that's cool that you gave it a listen.
No, for sure. It's like it's fun and scary finding a new artist with a lot of music in the past because it's fun in the sense where it's like, oh, it's so much music to go back and listen to and catch up on. But it's scary for me because a lot of times I'm like, I hope that this isn't the best thing, and then I go back and it's like, oh, this is like I don't like this other stuff. With you guys, it's so much different types of music. It's like I'm listening to a new band almost like every album, which I feel like is really cool because it's like the band that you got on this album wasn't the band from like from 4 albums ago. It's a completely different band, but it's still very good music, you know. And yeah, I think you guys hit a home run with this one. Like, hopefully, this is like the album that like takes you guys to the moon because it feels like I don't know if it's the best album, but this is the album that feels like the most. I don't know. It feels complete. It feels like a lot of like this. I don't know how long it took, but this feels like it took years to complete. It feels very. It feels like that. Listening to it.
It was a
Definitely.
That
slow
means a lot that you
process.
said that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, it is cool because I think like that's like your hope, and I feel like every album you make, you kind of like there's something about it you like wish you could have done or been able to kind of like go back on or something or felt unfinished maybe. But it has been really cool to see this one come together for it like feeling like we just kind of started it without really sure where like the timing or how it might end up. I felt like yeah, I feel like a similar way where it feels very well rounded and strong and like just seeing the songs come together, the concepts, the artwork. I'm like, whoa, like this really has been cool to all see that kind of fall into place working with them.
Were there songs that? My fault. Are you gonna say something?
Oh no, I was just gonna say like that really means a lot. Like talking about how it feels complete because I feel like every time you make an album, like you kind of get to a point where you're like, I guess this is done, and like there's almost like sometimes certain things like you might not know as like a listener, but as a creator, you're like almost like inconsistencies. Like this kind of feels left field, but it's part of the album. Like this is the first one I feel like we've made where like the approach to everything felt very consistent. Like even though there's different sounds, it's like the way not haphazardly approaching like guitar playing and kind of trying to be like thinking of guitar like and like being congruent throughout the album and like what would the guitar do on this album from like start to finish. And I think it's just like every time you make one, yeah, maybe you get a little bit better, but I don't know, I feel like this is in my opinion the best album we've ever made. So
No, it feels like that. I haven't went back to listen to every album, so I was like, maybe there's one that I haven't heard yet, and I'm like, okay, this is the one. But so far, this is the album that feels the most complete, and it feels like this has to be the best album. I'm like, if they made something better than this, then these guys are lunatics. Like they have something like this is like these guys are amazing. But yes, I really hope that people hear this and hear that the thoroughness and the completeness because like I said we've all heard music and songs that you hear like an artist be like, "Oh, I made the song in like 5 minutes," and it's like I could tell, like this sound, this sound like you made this in 5 minutes. But then we've also heard albums that feel like this feels like it took a long time to probably create, rather if it was the lyrics, rather if it was the music, whatever. Like, and this feels like one of those projects that if I didn't know any better, I'm like they probably had to take like 5 years off to complete this album because that's what it just sounds like listening to it. So thank you for this album.
Dude, thank
thank you
you for
to
listening, man.
No, for sure, for sure. Is there a, let's say there's people watching this interview, there's this first time hearing of you guys. Uh, is there a song from each of you guys or collective that on this album you would say, listen to this song first? This might be able to make you a fan or, make or break.
Whoa, it's a great
mm-hmm.
question. I feel like before answering that, like we really tried to make the track list And if you're like listening to it in an album sense, like when you first start off with My Love, which is the first track, like that was kind of the pull, like kind of like putting that first to like really bring everyone in. But I think if I were to tell someone randomly what song to listen to, that's a tough one because some part of me wants to do something that's like not a single right now, but damn.
I mean, just be honest. I feel like you could throw one out. I don't know.
What's your gut? What's yours?
I was gonna say "See You Smile,"
Mm.
because a few reasons. Like I really like how that song became a song. I feel like it's a very intertwined, like random way how that song ended up, which I feel like is very classic us. But then on top of that, I really like the lyrics in that song, and I feel like I like all of Adam's lyrics, but that's still one when I just listen to it, it still like hits me a certain way, and I'm like, it's like I don't know, it's weird when you like emotionally react to your own music. I guess it's like a group setting, but like the first time like he showed me like his like the idea for like what the vocals should do, I was like 100% like that's it. To the point where we were like trying to recreate like the um one take, like he just laid it down in his room, and it was like we have to recreate that lightning in a bottle kind of moment. But yeah, I think that song, yeah, that hits for me.
I think that was having a lot of like kind of like us like slamming together things we really like into kind of like a different type of song, where it feels like interesting.
The very like the Rudy Column guitar.
Yeah, I mean your guitar on that is really slick. I feel like that stuff is, I love that. I'm thinking Clover. I don't know. That was my gut.
That's mine.
Like,
That's mine.
really?
That's mine.
I feel like it's not like it would like necessarily like shock anyone or like kind of like like it wouldn't be like some like kind of like reaction that's like it wouldn't be as reactionary maybe to it, like good or bad, but I feel like something about that just feels smooth and like representative of the album, where it kind of has those live drums and like I don't know, it's like subtly like jazzy but like hip hoppy there, but then like there's this acoustic guitar, and I feel like Adam's lyrics like you were saying, it's like, I feel like I kind of like relate and resonate with them, like even being in the band, like, so I don't know, that song really, I feel like has always felt like a good kind of maybe just capturing like the atmosphere, like the kind of like vibe of the record, if like I had to pick one for someone.
Damn. Okay, I think if I were to choose one just for the feel, like it'd be more like if someone was like, "What's the feeling of this?" or "What's y'all's vibe?" or like, "What's the overall theme?" I would show them Salt.
Mm.
Because I feel like that is like a cool throwback to. There's like first half of that song, the vibe is like kind of. I mean, it's refreshing, but it's kind of like OG Us in a way. But then like the second half goes so hard, and I feel like that feeling that was captured there is like kind of like how I want people to feel when listening to the whole thing. But like that one's the most like in your face emotion.
I get that. That song is kind of raw, and I do like that it like kind of does that flip where it kind of maybe feels unexpected, like kind of starting to get into some of those sounds at where it's at in the back half of the album, but then I feel like it kind of unexpectedly again flips the script and kind of gets you back into like that rock atmosphere that it's like we've kind of established too. So, and I do, yeah, your lyrics on that one are great too. I love the dual vocal at the end. I'm such like a sucker for that.
I just think people want to rock out even if they don't listen to rock music. I think everyone like enjoys a good moment, a good like headbanging moment.
No, for sure. I feel like all those are three great picks, but I agree that Clover would be mine. Clover specifically because a few reasons. One, it's stuck in my head. The it sounds like summer, honestly. Like I see myself in the pool in one of those little floaty things where you're like laying down, you could like float on top of it. I just imagine like the sun's beaming down and like the song is just so summertimey and the your vocals it's so like just summer you and the music is great. That's my right now, and with this album when I first heard it, Salt was my favorite song. So it keeps changing, but like right now at this moment, Clover is my jam. That's I
Oh
can't
yeah.
stop
It's
playing
cool
that.
to hear you say that because I think my hope for like people are just something I like about the record and the way that we kind of came together on maybe how to like put singles out and like start to introduce it to people was it felt like there's kind of some of these moments where we do rock out and like really hit it hard and like the guitars are in your face like they're like palm mute chugging and doing really cool stuff or there's like bigger sounds big chords but yeah, I do like that the album and even Clover and elements of it kind of like flip the script on what you might have like been sold in the beginning and it's like there's kind of this whole other side of the album where some of that like in your face raw kind of raw emotional sound kind of like like that like you start there and you kind of get into the album and realize like there's kind of I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess it's like more well rounded and like there is like kind of these like more hopeful uplifting kind of songs and things that feel like I don't know, it feels like the timing of the album even made sense to me where it's like putting those singles kind of in like the dead of winter to drop the album right as spring and summer kind of start to come felt like it was like conceptually just made sense like it's like really like lean into the funeral music mood and then like have people realize maybe like the album isn't so like moody and intense as you might think it was when it was rolling out. I don't know if that makes sense but
No, when you said well rounded, this is gonna be a terrible analogy because I just literally just thought of it. But I imagine like a bookshelf with books of like like almost every genre. It's like, oh, you got some nonfiction here. You got a little science fiction. You got some fiction. You got like it's like this guy is a well read guy. This guy reads everything. Versus like if I go to like a bookshelf and it's like nothing but just like sports books. And it's like, all right, well this guy's this one thing and that's cool, but it's just this. But it's like this album is like a bookshelf with everything on it. You got like World War II history books. You got like a love romance, but you got a little bit of everything. And it's like this is a really well stocked bookshelf.
I like that well
That's awesome.
stocked. Yeah, that's cool.
It is
I'm glad you
really.
think that too, because I feel like, I don't know. I mean, people talk about like, oh, do albums matter as much, or like, I mean, not like everybody talks like that or something, but I can see how like over time, there's more of a focus on like a hit, a single, like a clip, like a TikTok sound, and all that stuff is like amazing too. But I feel like it is fun for us to sit back and like think about the album as like a piece of art, and like not like everyone's gonna like listen to it front to back, but I feel like as like a listener of music, like I love when I find a band and kind of like have those few songs that get me intrigued. I keep like running them, but then it's like when I like listen to that album front to back, I feel like now I'm a fan,
Yeah.
and so it's like fun to be able to try and like make that as like a piece of artwork, and it's cool to hear that it's like resonating with you in a way that I feel like it's kind of like that, like this like bigger thing. And it's just cool that you took the time to like dig into all of that. So it's like cool to hear you excited about it.
Of course. I feel like this may be a hot take, but I feel like TikTok when it comes to music is like a gift and a curse. A gift because
Totally.
I've seen songs from like 40 years ago like chart, and it's like that's cool because I'm pretty sure that artist would have never thought that would happen. Like that's really cool. But then I also feel like TikTok, I would hope it doesn't get to this point, but it promotes almost people listening to music for moments in a sense where it's like I'm listening to the for the viral part. Then when the viral part comes off, I'm just gonna turn it off. It's like whatever that viral part that's on TikTok, I'm gonna listen to that part when the song comes on. Ah, we got that part. Okay, next song. So it's like they're not really listening to the music. It's just I'm listening for like the meme or the moment and not really enjoying the 3 minute and 30 seconds of the entirety of what's going on in the song.
Yeah. Which is okay, I guess, because it's like all right for that to be like a thing that can like be a part of like the meme or like a thing, and it doesn't have to be like everyone's got to be like take my song seriously. It's 3 minutes, like listen to it or something. But I do know what you mean, where like it is so cool to see like it just take off an artist out of nowhere and like kind of give them like this whole new thing to run with or something. But yeah, I feel like it is interesting how yeah, like you could kind of like I totally know what you mean. Like you could hear a song come on the radio and be like, I don't know this song, and then hear like 10 seconds of it and be like, oh, I do know this song. Like I've heard this on TikTok. Like got you, okay. So it's like that is kind of like a different place, and maybe that's how things have always been with like music. So I think you said it best though. As much as I'm yapping, it's like there's so many cool things about it, and it's like kind of like a weird place to like have like all of music like focus on.
Yeah, it's like the artist lottery.
Yeah.
You anyone can win it at any time. And I think, to your point, I think it's really cool when someone who maybe their shit like really wasn't respected or listened to back then gets just popping all of a sudden, and that's cool. I think that's, especially if they're still alive and they're like, oh wait, like people actually like understand it now, or they're rocking with it now. But then you kind of see like people with these moments. I mean, it's just we're just progressing. Well, maybe digressing too. But I feel like the way that we interact with music is just different. So
That's
I think
cool way
like
of putting it. Like interacting with music is different.
it's
That
just
makes
different.
sense.
But we're trying to bring albums back.
No, I appreciate it. Like I
Bring it
said,
back.
you could tell by this album. And before I tie this into the film and we get out of here, I do have to bring up, because we're talking about like songs blown from a long time ago. Are you are any of you guys familiar with the song last year that blew up called "Ulterior Motives" by Christopher Saint Booth?
Can you sing it?
Yeah, how does it go?
I could play it really quickly. Let
Yeah,
me see.
yeah,
Let me
yeah.
see. Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it at? Where is it
I
at?
don't know
Where is it
that
at?
the name isn't familiar to me off the top of my head, but if
Awful
yeah, I could hear
names.
it and then know it
Hold
for
on,
sure.
hold on. I got you. I got you. I got you. Give me 1 second. Interior motives. If not, there's an insane story behind the song, which is why I bring it up, because it kind of ties into what we're talking about. But
I like the title.
this is it.
Yes, I do know this course.
Got you. So I'm going to tell you where this comes from. It's the most insane story. So on one of these like random small forums that's meant to be like, hey, what is this song? That's like the purpose of the whole forum. It's like, can you guys tell me what song this is? So this guy uploaded 10 seconds of this song, and it blew up. Everybody was trying to find the song, but this guy disappears, and they're asking him like, can you give us more information on like where you found it at? Where did you hear it at? Nope, he's not responding. So people literally for like I think 2 years going to manhunt for this song, and they end up finding the song. You know the song. You know where the song comes from.
Mm-mm.
The song was made for the purpose of an '80s porno film.
Nice. That's amazing.
Some guy dug up like a bunch of porn music, and he was like, I found the scene, I found it, but it's from a porno. And everybody's like, what's from a porno? And that song went crazy, and that guy is like, I think like doing like a soundtrack for like a TV show right now or something. And yeah, it's just crazy how that type of stuff can change somebody's life. For that guy just made that song probably for a porn, just just went on about his day. Never thought that would be like, something that could really send his career into another realm. It's wild.
Yeah, something that obscure would be weird to like you like realize like people are trying to track this song down and like really want to know, and then like that's wild. I do remember seeing that in passing. I think like just like understanding people were like searching for that song and it being some type of like lost media.
Yeah.
Like the people kind of like, but not knowing much about it, I didn't realize like that it was like a real song and it got tracked down. That is so crazy.
Dude, that's awesome.
Just got found last year. Crazy stuff. But the film stuff, which is really interesting to me, because I'm always interested in people who are really into film. Do they ever, and also do music? Is there ever a parallel when making music, or any type of connection that you have with film while making music? Rather, if it's an inspiration or anything you could draw between the two, are those two like separate entities in your brain?
I think they're pretty connected for me. I got into even like the idea of wanting to make films or write films when I was just like a little kid listening to music in the car, and then just like imagining scenes or my own music videos or all that stuff. And then I feel like with we're like lucky enough to like be able to curate a narrative or a vibe for the visuals for this record, and instead of like having someone like putting it out for us, like it's cool to like take take ideas, take references, take inspirations, and like make our own world. Especially with this record, and like shout outs to the people that we've worked with who have like really brought those to life, especially How Young of America, who did Rip. He like really like heard what we were saying and saw the vision and like really helped it be birthed.
Yeah, like he kind of encouraged us to like take it places and like kind of just use things that we were unsure about and kind of like went there with us, which was really fun. So I know what you mean. I feel like growing up, or even just in general, my interest in film is always connected to music. Like, not that they have to be, but like I just think so many times, like I watch films, there's so many films I love. It's like those scenes where it is just like visual stuff happening and music over it, and like that playing out. And so obviously, I guess that's like a music video to some extent, but like I just like a lot of films I watch. It's like it's really cool to see like the relationship between those two things. And I think it's so magical how you drop like a song over any video and like those two will like find some type of like synergy or something. Like they don't have nothing to do with each other and it'll be like a vibe somehow, or some moment will cross. And so just seeing like those two like video and sound play together has like always been interesting.
It's funny, I feel like even some of my favorite films don't even have music in them too. Yeah. It's like an ironic thing. Like, there's like some great films that the score is so minimal and it's like almost like music would ruin it, and then some film it's like, or visuals, like music makes it, but then like kind of talking about film and like the relationship, it's interesting. It's an interesting question because I feel like a lot of the creative process of like making a narrative film is like not dissimilar than maybe how we or I approach like making an album, like thinking of world building, thinking of like instruments as like a character, like kind of like making like a something come to life that's like in your head, so yeah.
I will say this album, I mean, pretty much every record we've done is a story, from front to back. Like it is really like I think like we really just do a great job of like telling it from like that first song to the last song. Maybe that has gotten lost maybe in some albums, but I think this album is like a movie to me, and I really like want people when they listen to it to like really imagine like how long is the album? 45 minutes, maybe like a 45-minute film, and then like when you're done, you just imagine that whole thing with the sound and the music. And I think it's like one of the biggest narrative pieces that we've done. So yeah, definitely it's like it's pretty intertwined for sure. And also like another side of it, it's like I want this music to be in movies. Like I want it to be used in things. Like I want Rip to be in a fucking action movie. I want like I want some stuff to be like cinematic or like for moments, kind of soundtracky in a way, even though they're their own dynamic songs. But yeah, super intertwined. So I think you really hit it on the head with that.
No, for sure. Like this album is definitely very almost like cinematic to a point, and I thought it was very very interesting what Hunter just said about music, not some of your favorite films not having a lot of music. I recently just watched a movie that I kind of like didn't really like that much, but Speak No Evil. I think it came out like last year, and the movie is climaxing to a point where a lot of like music to make the moment, like but there's no music in that, and I thought that was interesting because in a spot where music would be at, they chose to have no music and just let the scene play out, just like the scene plays out. I thought that was intriguing.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Like doing kind of the anti.
Yeah.
I mean, like the music can like heighten reality a bit in a movie sometimes, and I think that's maybe sometimes why I like it. So maybe it's like time and place. Like I totally see what you're saying. Like some movies do like kind of like get you into like what feels like a more real experience. And so I don't know. I feel like sometimes maybe it's like, yeah, I feel like fun when like music is kind of soundtracky or something. Sometimes I even kind of think about, like, it sounds cheesy, but the albums we make like really just becomes like the soundtrack to my own life, because I feel like you end up listening to it all so much. You're just like, I'm like in this band, but this is like this is what I'm hearing all the time as I go about my day. So it's like interesting.
Yeah, I think it's so sick. Like in films that don't use music for those moments, like sometimes I feel like music can tell a viewer like what to feel. Right? It's like, oh, this is the emotion. But if as a filmmaker you could show images that nails like what you want an audience to like feel emotionally from like a scene or a performance, like, you know, actors and you know, it's like, I think that's so sick because I feel like that's really hard to do.
Yeah, that also makes me
everyone
think that like I feel like you talked about us being in film school and like our relationship with film and music, and part of me feels like as much as I love film, like I think like going back to school, it's like I love film and love watching films, talking about films, but I don't. It's like I don't think I could ever like make a movie. It's a way that's craziness. Like getting a movie done, you know. So and maybe someone could say the same about an album, but it's like maybe that's why we ended up being more musicians than anything. It's like making movies seems crazy. So
it's hard enough to get
like
like 3 people to meet up with like scheduling. It's like, you imagine like trying to get, I don't know, a whole film crew together to like
well, even just a film, you know, like you see it in your head, and then just like what that takes to get that actually out there, like that's crazy, you know, like so it is cool. I feel like that we got to kind of like we get to do a bit of both. I love that the band kind of allows us to like at times be filmmakers, like at times be sound engineers, like at times be graphic designers, like we kind of get to dabble in all these little things. So that's like a cool part about it for me, is it like you get to, you know, just when you're kind of feeling like, you know, you're not like bored. Yeah, it's like you just get to always kind of switch and always be challenged. So it's like cool.
I guess before we get out of here, I'll leave you with this. Each from everybody, what's like the last thing you saw that kind of left impact on you that you really liked?
movie.
Movie.
Oh, I saw. I'm forgetting the director's name, but I saw this movie. Um, it's like an old French film called A Man and a Woman. There's a really cool imagery in it. Never heard of it. I feel like that one slipped by me in school. And then recently I rewatched Easy Rider.
Mm.
And because my partner had never seen it, and one of the first movies we saw, like one of our first times we went on a date, was a Dennis Hopper movie from like that era, I think Out of the Blue. And I just assumed she had seen Easy Rider, and then I'm like, you haven't seen that? Like, we should watch it. I don't know if that movie's like, or Dennis Hopper's like problematic, but
Is he?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't think specifically, but he's kind of a wild guy, so I think I know.
Fuck him.
I was about to say,
We're anti.
I would say it feels like everybody from that era is problematic at this point.
yeah.
They all suck for real.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. I know what you mean. I feel like I've been trying to, like, my roommate has a Criterion subscription, so we'll, like, bust that out at night. And, like, even if I don't know anything, it's just so cool, like, looking at old films that are, like, contrasty and grainy and, like, kind of messy. And, like, I feel like that kind of stuff has really been, like, resonating with me just compared to some of the way things look now, more just, like, clean, figured out, kind of darker and stuff. Like, I don't know, so it's like kind of rewatching those older films, definitely cool to like get that kind of raw feel for things.
Shout out Shrek 2.
I've been deep in my Criterion bag. Good app. Good app.
What film? I'm trying to think. On like as like a new film that I had seen in the theaters, because I think that's like the ultimate experience. But I'm still thinking about some of the scenes in Anora, and
Oh, yeah.
I felt like I left. Did you see that film?
Literally another film I'm planning to watch this week. I'm behind. I need to watch Nora.
Highly recommend.
I will say, like, at the end, I was pretty blown away, and it's a pretty deep emotion that I hadn't really felt.
Really? I'm catching up on all the Oscar stuff. I just watched The Substance for the first time yesterday.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Another amazing film.
Adam and I could not stop talking about that movie. Adam went to see it. It was literally like bro, I just got out of this movie. You need to go see it. And I just like went and saw it like the next day, and it was just like, bro, like that's a good example of a movie that just like caught me off guard and was like so cool and different in like a fun way. Or maybe just some of those like things it's doing are kind of like clicking for me now. But damn, what a movie!
That was the first time I had been in a theater with like actual like reaction
Mm.
and people like kind of freaking out, and like that was stuff I only thought like my parents experience, but like people around me were like physically ill and like couldn't really hang. And it was really sick.
It was cool seeing it like when it first came out because like I went and saw it in a full theater too, and it was like just watching everyone like laugh and like some people like can't you watch it even. I don't know. It's crazy. The combo of just all of it, the music, the acting, like that, the visual stuff, definitely nuts. I love the wide angle stuff too. Oh my gosh, like I feel like I was on a big Wong Kar-wai kick before like seeing that too, and I feel like just all those films where it's like you just get it as wide as you can looks so like cool to me. I don't know why.
Great movie.
Great movie. I would see if they made that like a trilogy. I would watch that.
For sure, for sure. No, it was great. I didn't know what to expect because I actually went in blind, so I had no idea it was going. I was like, oh, this is crazy. So yeah, great movie. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for coming through. If there's any last words you guys want to say to the people, floor is yours.
Um,
I don't know.
I would say what?
I was gonna say, appreciate your time.
Yeah,
sticking around the
thank you for
video.
your time.
Thank you for you, the listeners, like everyone, just stick around the song in the video. I feel like it's cool to have this opportunity to like chat like this. We've never really done anything like specifically like this before, and I was kind of nervous for it, thinking like, oh, I have to video interview, and then
We're pretty anti.
I feel like now that you're saying goodbye, I'm like, bro, we could
I'm
do this
sad.
like another hour. Like, this is kind of
Okay,
chill.
so
It's
look,
like,
so I was like, maybe because their name is like Triathalon, is they probably have a bunch of video interviews, but every time I type in Triathalon interview, I see like somebody running. I'm like, I can't find any interviews, so there's not a lot of video interviews of you guys.
Yeah, no, yeah, really have a hard time with that. But I would say, shout outs to our fans, for real. They're probably like, they're like my favorite part of the internet to like bring happiness and reassurance because they just like understand the vision. And they're just like, shout outs to the 3 people who like my tweets, and shout outs to like the people who are always interacting and just who get it, and like it's so sick. Like even like the 3 people who like always comment on YouTube, like I just like really rock with everyone so hard, and like meeting those people at shows and then being like, yo, and then like username, and I'm like, yo, like it's really cool, and I think we just have like the coolest fans. So shout outs to everyone, and yeah, never kill yourself. Keep going in this world, and yeah, that's really all I gotta say, I guess.
Wait, man. As of when did you send me this? 4/16. So is that April 16th? I've been a fan of you guys. You guys got a fan in me for the rest of eternity. So hopefully we can meet, and I can say, hey, I'm
Yes.
Eric the Young God. I'm the one who's commenting on there all your YouTube videos, you know. So I
Yes.
appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody for watching. Until next time, I say what I mean what I say. Haters are gonna hate and players are gonna play. And you guys holler at your boy.